y'all. Hey. Welcome to the premiere of the No Shoez Podcast. It's long overdue. I know y'all been waiting patiently, and I apologize. I'm supposed to start in January, but I had things going on, so here we are. So thank you for joining. Thank you for all your support. Thank you guys for sharing the flyers and putting those out there for me and just doing everything to promote this podcast. It's been a long time coming. You're gonna see me with my little note cards. As most of you know, I have multiple sclerosis, and March is MS Awareness Month, and we tend to forget things, so I have to take notes. So don't forget. Um, I want to shout out before I start. Got to shout out my sorority, Alpha Eta Phi Multiple Sclerosis Sorority Incorporated. Hey yo! Shout out my sorors. Um, we are in this fight together. MS is what brought us all together. So I have to shout them out. And love you, ladies. Thank you for all your support with my podcast. I truly appreciate it. So I want to go ahead and get started. I want you all to know that this is a safe space. It's real and it's unfiltered. So we're going to keep it 100. Something that a lot of y'all who know me know I'm good for keeping it 100. I want you to take your shoes off. I have mine on. See, no shoes. No shoes. So go on and kick your shoes off. Expose them corny Frito-Lay chip smelling feet of yours. Make sure your feet are done. Okay? No stank. No fungus among us. Get comfortable as I am. And we're going to get started in grounding ourselves in truth. This space is for truth, for realness, and we're going to do it all with our shoes off. All right. So, why the no shoes? Got air, baby. Why the no shoes? Got air. Sorry, y'all. This is my first podcast, so we're trying to get everything together. So just bear with us. I apologize. Oh Lord. So why no shoes? So this was an inside joke from my husband. So I be in the kitchen doing my thing, and he'll come in and be like, I hope you ain't got on no shoes, 'cause it tastes better when you don't have on any shoes. So me being me, give him no finger, and laugh at him. He always knows how to make me smile, so he'll say it, do something crazy, but that's where I got the idea for the No Shoez podcast. Um, and I wanted it to be something that was going to be a relaxing atmosphere. You know, we have a lot of drama going on, even with the inside of the content creation. You have a lot of drama, a lot of mess going on, and I did not want this space to be that. So this is going to be a relaxing space where you can just come and chill, have your drink, your sip of whatever you want to have, whether it's water on the rocks or some Remy, whatever you want to have. Just chill, relax, and this is going to be that safe space for you. Some other things that I put into this was that, you know, shoes represent protection and performance. We tend to dress things up for the world. And I wanted this podcast to be opposite of that. So it's no filters, no pretending, no polished highlighted reels. So what you see is what you get with me. Again, it's going to be about truth. It's going to be about growth. And it's going to be about accountability. Ding, 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 ding. So when you take your shoes off, you're not performing anymore. You're just you. Remember that always. So the reason why I started this podcast, I have been through a lot within the last few years. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2019. And from there, it's been an up and down battle. And I'll get more into MS, the types of MS, just so you have an understanding of what it is. The diagnosis itself changed my life. And I understood, after getting the diagnosis and I got home that day, I understood, get it out, cry, do what you're going to do, scream to the tops of the mountains, but then you got to let it go. And I knew I had to fight. So I knew I was going to have to do things different. That it wasn't a death sentence, but my life was just going to be different at that point. Um, and since then, so 2019, I got diagnosed, and things were, for me, it seemed like things were progressively getting worse. So I did some things, tried some things, some new things, and they seemed to work. But, and I mean, when I say that, I mean as far as changing my diet, those types of things. But nothing was working. So in 2024, I made a decision to have weight loss surgery, which was the best decision I ever made, and would do it again if I had it to do all over again. Um, then last year, I had a hysterectomy. And then this year, I had a breast reduction surgery because with all the weight I lost, I felt like I was being pulled down. So I had to do that. So everything that I did since my diagnosis was for my health. It wasn't for, me to look good because I always look good. Let me stop. But it wasn't for those reasons. It was to add those years on to my health. My mom, she's 90 years old. She's lived a long life and a long, healthy life. She's never had any kind of issues whatsoever. So I want that kind of life. Even though I have this illness, it's not going to be the end of me. So this was one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast. I feel I have so much to give to the world. And I'm not one of those people that like to gatekeep information. So if what I'm doing is going to help the next person, I want to be able to provide that information to them. Now, I always say to do your own research because my experience may be different than your experience. Your experience is going to be different than mine. So just for example, where, when I had my hysterectomy, I didn't have any pain. And plus I stayed on top of my meds. So where I didn't have any, you may. But I want to share the things that I went through, the things that maybe I didn't do right or that I did do right that worked out well for me and share with you so you can try those things. But always consult with your doctor. That's first and foremost. Do those things. Um, in me since 2019, I've had so many things happen. I've had to cut people off. I've added people to my life. Um, I've learned a lot about healing and setting boundaries, which I didn't used to do. And I've had to set a lot of boundaries since then. So it's okay to set boundaries. You have to. You have to. You can love everybody. You can care about everybody, but you have to love yourself first. Um, and you definitely have to take care of your mental health. That is first and foremost. And a lot of people who are around me will tell you that I always say, protect your peace. You have to protect your peace. Not everybody else is yours. Um, Everything for me, has been about, I don't want any sympathy. When I got my diagnosis, I sat my family down, I sat my friends down, I told them, don't treat me any different. I don't want you to treat me like I'm handicapped because I'm not. Yes, I have an illness. I have a progressive illness, but still treat me like fearless. Don't treat me like broke fearless. So, um, that's where I'm at right now. And, this is what this podcast is going to be all about. I want to hear you all's experiences and for you all to share your stories with me as well. Because it's not just about me. This space I've created for everyone. For men, for women. If you want to bring your kids on, that's fine. I don't want this to be a space of drama and mess because that's not what it is. I will shut it down real quick before it becomes that. Um, It's going to be about strength, transparency, and community. And that's where y'all come in. When you go on my Facebook space, there's a form on there. It's a feedback form that you can fill out, and as you watch the podcast, you can submit that form. It'll come to me, and if you want it to be anonymous, there's a box on there for you to check that you want to stay anonymous. And just send in, be for real. I can take criticism. It's going to help me grow this channel. Just be open and honest about the things you like, what you don't like, what you want to see, any suggestions you have on topics. But I do just want to be honest that I will not be speaking on anything political on this channel. I want this space to stay neutral and free, political free. We got enough of that every time we turn on the TV. So go on my No Shoez Podcast. It's the No Shoez with a Z podcast on Facebook and follow that channel. Follow me here on YouTube if you haven't already. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell so anytime I go live or anytime I put any videos out, you'll get alerted of those videos. And make sure you like this live. Tell a friend or 10, like I said. And continue watching. So I want to start this first podcast since it's MS Awareness Month. I want to start it out speaking on my MS journey. So just to educate you all a little bit, there are 4 types of MS. So you have CIS, which is a clinically isolated syndrome, which is the first possible sign of MS. Then you have what I have, and what most people who get, 85% of people who get diagnosed with MS start out with what the type I have, which is one of the least aggressive types. It's relapsing remitting MS is what I have. So what that means is you'll have flare-ups followed by recovery. So, for example, I'll have an episode, and my episodes consist of my baseline symptoms. And what your baseline symptoms are what symptoms you had before your diagnosis, what led up to it. So for me, I had vertigo for 2 months. And then I saw a neurologist. By the time I saw the neurologist, which I saw him on Michael Jackson's birthday in 2019. How do I know that? Because I'm a Michael Jackson fan. Y'all know that. But when I saw him, by that time, my symptoms had changed. So I had stroke-like symptoms at that point. So when I saw him, he was like, well, you had a mini stroke or you have MS. And he confirmed I had MS with the MRI. Now, they can also do a spinal puncture where they take fluid out. It's similar to epidural for you ladies who know what epidural is. When you get ready to have your baby, you don't want to deal with that pain, so you have an epidural so they can, you won't feel nothing. You get numbed. But with the epidural, they're putting something in. With this spinal, they're taking spinal fluid out so they can test it to see if you have MS. So the third type of MS, as it goes up, it gets more progressive. So then you have SPMS, which is secondary progressive. And what that is, it starts like the type I have, and then it becomes steadily progressive. And the last one is PPMS, which is primary progressive MS. And it slowly worsens from the start. So those are the 4 types of MS. I have I wouldn't call her a friend. I'm going to just be honest with you. I wouldn't call her a friend. She's someone that used to be a friend. But she was diagnosed with MS before I was. Years before I was. She wasn't able or she wasn't lucky enough to have the type of insurance that I've been blessed to have thanks to my husband. Thank you, honey. And by the time they diagnosed her, her brain and her spine were full of lesions, that's how they look at the brain and they see lesions on the brain on your spine. Some people have lesions just on the brain, as I do. I don't have any on my spine. Some people have them just on their spine. Some people have them on both. So she got diagnosed, by the time they found it, she just gave up and didn't fight. And now she'll never walk again. You know, she's in a rest home. We're both 48, and she's never gonna walk again. And it saddens me to know that, because she was very rambunctious. She was very fun, weird at times, but she had a good heart. And I hated that for her, because she lost her mom, and then 6 months later she lost her uncle, you know, who lived with them, and it was just her. So, you know, where I had my support system, I had my son who was here with me when everything first started. My husband was overseas at the time, and my mom and my dad were here. One of my brothers lives across the street, and the two other ones live not far. So I have my support system. I had, you know, one of my friends that doesn't live far here. My other friend, she was in Florida at the time, but now she lives in Columbus, so she's not far. My other two friends are in North Carolina, so I had that support. Not everybody has it. And that's another reason why I started this podcast. One of the reasons why I started my organization with three other wonderful ladies. And it's a sorority for women with multiple sclerosis. And not everybody has the support. You need it. I'm just going to be honest with you. You know, when you're dealing with something like this, you need that support. We have our families, and our families, they're there to support us. They love us, but they don't understand what we go through internally. So it's easy for me to get on the phone and call my sister. It's like, hey, this fatigue is out of control, because we all suffer from the fatigue. Don't matter which type of MS you have, you're going to have fatigue. And it's easy to have someone to talk to that can relate to what you're going through. Doesn't mean your family and your friends don't love you. It's just they don't really understand how deep it is. When you're living with this disease, or this illness, I don't want to call it disease, this illness is unpredictable, so you never know what you're going to wake up to. Getting out of bed, and when I went to my first support group meeting, they gave us a sheet, and they were like, you know, these are spoons. So getting out of bed, I think if I remember correctly, because it was so long ago, getting out of bed used up 2 spoons. Taking a shower, 3 spoons. So everything you do that a normal person wouldn't get tired from, you're getting tired from, and you sometimes can be using up spoons for the next day. So rest is essential when you have multiple sclerosis. You have to rest. You have to get your rest. You cannot have any stress. You get tired all the time. So there may be times my friends may call up, or my family may call up, hey, you want to go hang out? I can't. I'm tired. I just can't. It's not because I don't want to. It's just I can't. So these are the things that we have to deal with. These are the things that, you know, y'all look at me, I look normal. You would never know I had multiple sclerosis. Not all disabilities are visible. So I run into it all the time where, you know, I have a handicap sticker. And I'll have people look at me and be like, why are you parking a handicap? Well, my first thing is to tell them to mind their business. But I just point to my sticker, because the MS Foundation, they sent me, you know, when you first get diagnosed, you reach out to those organizations. So you have the MS Foundation, you have the National MS Society, and there's Can Do. You have so many different organizations out there. And the MS Foundation sent me a packet, and in that packet was a sticker that said not all disabilities are visible, and I put it in the back window of my car. So when people question me, I point to that sticker, and I keep it moving, because I wouldn't have a handicap sticker without my doctor filling out, you know, the application. You have to have your doctor fill that out. So, you know, these are things that we in the MS community, us MS warriors, deal with. The impacts on your body, it's a lot. It's just a lot. And it affects your mind, it affects your emotions, it affects your relationships. Mine, and a lot of my sorors don't know this, and this is the first time some of you are going to be hearing about this. So now I have spells. And when I have these spells, they're kind of like dementia. So for anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, I don't know what's going on. I kind of black out, so I don't even remember. Like, the only thing I remember when I come out of it is what happened prior to me going into it. So I have to rely on my husband and my son to tell me what goes on in that time period where I'm just like, okay, what's going on? What happened? Because I don't remember this chunk of time. And hubby says sometimes I can be aggressive in those moments. Um, it's always Friday. For the most part, it's always 2025. He'll put me in the bed and he's like, you want me to put something on? He'll be like, you want me to put something on? He said, I always want to watch Flash Gordon. So when I come out of it, Flash Gordon's on. So that's one of the ways that I know that I've had a spell. Now, for those of you who don't know who Flash Gordon is, go look him up. Don't judge me. He saved every one of us. My Gen Xers and before now. It's taught me to slow down and to listen to my body. It's taught me to advocate for myself because you have to. Even if you don't have an illness, you always, when you're dealing with doctors and things, you have to advocate for yourself. Because if you don't, nobody is. You have to. It's also taught me that strength doesn't look loud. When I got diagnosed, the day I went to my doctor, and I do want to shout out my doctor, Dr. Juan Lacayo of Alcovy Neurology in Loganville, Georgia. He is awesome. He has been the best neurologist. He's made, anytime I need anything, he's there. If I reach out to him on that patient portal, I get a response from him less than an hour. He's always on top of it. Anytime I needed my medication, if it wasn't going to get to me in time, hey, come to the office and you can get a sample. So I don't miss out on my medication. He's been awesome. And if you're in the Atlanta area, he's worth the trip. Again, his name is Dr. Juan Lacayo in Loganville, Georgia. The day I went to him, he sent me for an MRI. He confirmed that I had multiple sclerosis through the MRI. And when I'm sitting here, my mom's sitting beside me. I got my husband on Skype because he's overseas at the time. And I'm looking at him, like just glaring at him because I didn't want to blink because I knew if I blinked, I was going to start crying. Because I was not expecting for him to tell me I had MS. And I really didn't want to hear that I had a mini stroke either. And he was just going over everything with me, going over my medicine options. And I blinked and I just started crying. And just from there, I just broke. And I'm glad my mom was there. I'm glad I had my husband. Let me tell you something. That man is awesome. My son, awesome. Like, he stepped in and did his thing. When my husband finally came home, he's seeing me have episodes for the first time, and he's just driving everything, rushing. And my son's like, "Okay, I'm coming to you. I ain't rushing, but I'm getting to you as quick as I can," because he's already experienced these things. But after I got diagnosed, after we left the doctor's office, I went home, and I just screamed and cried. I got it out. And then I said, you know what? I'm giving this to you, Lord. And I'm done with it. This is not going to be the end of Fearless. I got too much left on this earth to do before you call me home. And I shouldn't be here, honestly, talking to y'all now. Because I got in a real bad car accident in 2003. Real bad. Should not be here. But he said, he saw these days. He said, your work's not done. And I believe that. So I cried, I got it out, I gave it to him. And to this day I still have my days where I just, cry. But I dust myself off and I keep it moving because that's what I have to do. Um and I had to get that out before my son got home because he called me that day after I got back home. He was like, "How'd your appointment go?" And I told him everything was fine because I didn't want to worry him because he at that time he had a long travel back home because he worked a little ways out, and I did not want him not focused on the road and getting an accident because he's concerned about mom. So I had to get all of that out so I could be strong for him when I told him. Um, Sorry. That's the only part that makes me emotional when I talk about having to tell him. Um, when he got home that day, I told him that mama told you a little lie, and I told him I had MS, and he did the same thing I did at that doctor's office. He just stared at me, and he was like, "Are you gonna die?" I'm like, "No, baby, no, I'm not. There's medicines, for it." And just so that you all understand, for those of you that don't know a lot about MS, the medicine only slows the progression. It does not. Um, there's no cure for it. So the only thing it's doing is slowing the progression because it's a progressive disease or illness. So, after I told him, he cried, and I had to be strong for him. I had got everything I needed to get out for me out so I could be strong for him, and after I told him, I told the rest of my family, and I went and looked for some support groups, and I found one, and I did it more so for him because I wanted him to see that there are people living with this that are still living normal lives and doing things. So we went to that him. It was me, him, my brother. Well, one of my brothers. I got four brothers. So my third oldest brother and my mom and dad. There was a young man. He was like 30 something at the time. Um, he came in there in a wheelchair. His mom was taking care of him. There was another lady that came in with a cane, and then there were two. There was a couple that came in there. They both had the walking walkers. But when I tell you that man and that woman, you would never know they had MS. They were so happy. They were laughing and joking. You could see how much they loved each other. It was just, it gave me hope. Despite their illness, they were so happy. They weren't letting it affect them. And us MS warriors said we have MS, it doesn't have us. We won't let it. We're going to fight to the very end. And we can. Um, if y'all have questions about anything that I'm talking to you about as far as MS is concerned, again, it's MS Awareness Month, so you're going to be seeing me post about a lot of things MS. Um, you can go on, if you're friends with me on Facebook on my personal page, you can send me a question in DMs. You can ask it on my page, or you can go on my No Shoez Podcast page. I'm on IG as well. There, and you can ask me a question. You can ask me whatever you want. If it's something that I don't want to answer, I'll be honest with you and tell you I don't want to answer, or I feel it's too personal to answer. I'll be honest with you. But like I said, I don't gatekeep anything when it comes to things like this. Um, so that's pretty much my MS journey in a nutshell. I'm still here, living life like it's golden, just enjoying life. Enjoying my husband, life. I just passed my CPC exam. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a second. Technical difficulties. Sorry about that, y'all. A little bit of technical difficulties. We'll get these worked out so it won't be an issue moving forward. Forgive us. But like I was saying, that's just my MS journey in a nutshell. I'm just enjoying life, enjoying my husband, enjoying my son because he's gonna be leaving the nest soon. So I'm just enjoying things. And I do also want to point out, if you have a pet, they know when you're not well. My baby Midnight, who passed a lot, y'all know he passed in October. We had him for 14 years. That was my buddy. That dog did not leave my side. I couldn't sleep in my bed. I had to sleep on my little chase lounge on the side of my bed. I had to sleep the whole time I had that vertigo spell. He did not leave my side. He stayed at the foot of that couch with his mama. And when son would come home to take him out, because I have a 2-story house, so I couldn't go up and down the stairs for fear of falling. But son would come home and he would take him out so he can use the bathroom, and he's walking to the bedroom door to go with him, and he's looking back at me like, "I'll be back, mama. I'll be right back." He'd go out, he'd rush, go out, do his thing, and I hear him rushing back up them stairs, and he would come and sit right back at the corner of that couch, and he stayed there until I got better. And I miss him dearly. That was my buddy. I wear him around my neck. His ashes are in his locket. And I wear him around my neck. Midnight will always be near my heart. Always. But if you have a pet, they know. They know when something's not right with you. So I just want to give you all give you a little scope of what this podcast is going to be moving forward. So again, this is a space for men and women. I think sometimes we tend to forget about men. We expect for men to just be strong all the time, but they go through things too. They have MS too. It affects women more, but they have it too. And we must never forget about them. We have to be there to lift them up too. So this is a space for women and men. Anyone that's navigating healing, health, and growth. Like I said, I want this to be a positive space always. And if I feel like it's turning into something negative, or if I feel like somebody is coming in negative, I'm gonna have to cut you off. Because this space is going to stay positive. We got enough negativity going on. We don't need it everywhere we go. I just want y'all to be able to come in here, have whatever drink you made. And this is Crystal Light. I don't drink. I have not drank since 2023. I think was the last time I took a drink. I don't drink. I never drank like that anyway because I couldn't. But I want this space to be positive. The struggles that we have do not have a gender. So I want this space to be open. I want men to feel comfortable coming here. I want women to feel comfortable coming here. And like I said, I'm open to any topics or suggestions that you all bring to me. If it's something that I don't want to touch on, I'll be honest and let you know. Like I said, no politics. I refuse to discuss politics on this channel. I'm not going to do that. So moving forward, we'll be focusing on things, living with a chronic illness, my weight loss journey, both the physical and the emotional side and the mental, because it's a lot of people don't understand that weight loss surgery, a lot of it's mental. In the mental health without a stigma, focusing on that. Boundaries in friendship, family, and relationships. Accountability and self-growth. I think accountability is very important. A lot of us don't hold ourselves accountable. And I think it's very important for whatever relationship, whether it's a friendship, a sistership, a brothership, whatever it is. We have to hold ourselves accountable, whether, especially when we're wrong. You got to start holding yourself accountable, and we don't have enough of that. Focusing on real friendships, not convenience connections. And what convenience connections are is you connecting with me because it's convenient for you. Healing from trauma. learning how to be emotionally mature while navigating woman or manhood in a healthy way. And those are things that we're going to touch on. Then, of course, whatever you all bring to me. Now, I want to be able to, and I have to hold my mic because my neck broke at the last minute. I'm so sorry. Um, I want to be able to, before the end of the summer, to start bringing guests on. I want to have some of my sisters from our organization, if they're comfortable coming on and speaking about their MS experiences. Um, I have a lot of people that I'm connected with, D9, D9 sorority and fraternities, non-collegiate sorority and fraternities, that I want to bring on the show. People who suffer from other chronic illnesses like lupus, fibromyalgia. And just so you understand, like lupus, fibromyalgia, I forgot the one disease, the one guy, McSweeney, I think is his name, from Grey's Anatomy that just passed from. That illness, MS, they all kind of fall under the same umbrella because they're neurological type illnesses. But they all fall under the same umbrella. Um, I want this space to be about being honest, grounding, encouraging, safe, real, and a place where both men and women feel seen. I think that is so important. And you all, as you go along, you will see that I will advocate for both men and women. Yes, I'm a woman, but I'm an advocate for a woman or a man. We're all human. We all need those things. This first premiere wasn't going to be long, because I don't want to take up all your time. But, and I don't know if the chat's working. I haven't seen any chats come through, so I don't want y'all to think that I'm ignoring you, because I'm not. Hold on, I'm just turning this on so I can kind of see if the live chat's going. I don't think it is, which I'm sorry if it's not. I apologize. It was supposed to start on its own when the live started, but it for some reason did not. So I apologize. We're working the kinks and things out. This is the first one, so we'll have it worked out. But in closing, I want to thank everyone for supporting me, and again, posting the flyers I was putting out about the podcast, for your patience, because again, I was supposed to have done this in January, but my doctor had called me. We didn't think the insurance was gonna take care of my breast reduction, so I was moving on to other things, and they called me just like, yeah, we can do it on January the 5th. So I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Yes. So I postponed it, and then I was going to do it in February, but I was like, what better way to start than MS Awareness Month? So I just decided to do it then. And I know y'all have been waiting patiently, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your patience. Please support me by subscribing to my channel, which you can do. If you're on it now, you can subscribe. Click the notification bell, because the notification bell is going to let you know when I post live videos, or if I post just a regular video. My plan is to do two or three lives a month, and in between that, do little videos of different topics that we're going to speak on. And like I said, go to my No Shoez Podcast Facebook page, and the feedback form, be a guest form, is at the top. It's pinned to the top. You can't miss it. Click on it, fill it out, and tell me what topics y'all want to see next. What part of your journey are you still healing? If you have MS, let me know. I'm here. I'm one of those people that I care a lot. And sometimes this is where I need to set boundaries. Sometimes I give it to people who it's not warranted for. They aren't deserving of it. And that's just me. I've always been that way. I've always been a loving and caring person. It's just me. It's hard to turn it off when you've been that way for so long. But I'm here if y'all need to talk. I know it's difficult, especially when you first get diagnosed with anything. It's difficult to hear sometimes, and you're just wondering how you're gonna make it through. And it's good to have somebody that's experiencing it just to listen to you. So I'm here if y'all need. Um, the last thing I want to do before I close out this live, I have some shout outs I need to give. The first one I want to give to my cousin, TJ. His name's TJ too. It's my husband's first cousin. He designed my logo for me. Um, y'all go check him out. His company is Dixon Moore Company, and that's DIXON Company. And his website is www.d as in Delta, M as in Mary, C as in Charlie, 247.com. Again, that's www.d as in Delta, M as in Mary, C as in Charlie, 247.com. And again, he did my logo. He didn't do this cup, but that's the logo. The second shout out I want to give is to my fan Rhonda. Rhonda actually did my shirt. She does print design, and she put my logo on the shirt. She also put my logo on this cup. Now I will be doing merch, but it won't be till later, like way later. She did a coffee mug for me. She did two mugs. This one, and I gave the other one to my mother-in-law. Left down in Florida with her, but she did do these for me. Her company is the Remix Custom Print. Um, she's here in Georgia, in Snellville, Georgia. Um, and she can print whatever you need. She can print it on a mug, on a shirt, whatever you need. Um, I still gotta get with her. I think she is on IG as the Remix Custom Print. I know she's on Facebook. So you go check her out. Y'all go follow her and my cousin on Facebook. And there's three. There's two people first and foremost that I have to thank. I have to thank my son. Um, he's the reason why I'm able to do this video. Well, he's one of the reasons why I'm able to do this video. You know, he's been doing his video and camera thing, and he's very good. So if y'all need any pictures or videos taken, go check him out. He's Dracula.gif on Instagram. And it's DRACULA.GIF on Instagram. He's self-taught. To be self-taught, and I'm not saying it just because he's my son. I'm saying it because I'm being honest with y'all. He to be self-taught, he's doing exceptionally well. So check him out. That's my video and my cameraman. And then I have to thank my tech man, which is my husband. Everything I needed to technically get set up, the programs I needed, those type of things. He's the reason for that. So I have to thank both of them. I love you guys very, very much. Thank you for always being there for me. Thank you for supporting me. And the last person I gotta thank is my mama. She has always been my biggest supporter outside of those two. And even at 90, she still shows up for me. Every surgery I had, from that weight loss surgery to this, she was at the hospital. And she'll tell you, when I got ready to have my weight loss surgery, she was very concerned about me having it. I don't think she wanted me to. But I was supposed to have done it a few years back, and I kind of let everybody else's fears talk me out of it. So I didn't do it. But then that year I had, I was just like, you know what? I got to do this for me, because I was miserable. And my family, my son, my husband, my family, they did not know I was miserable. But I didn't show it. They never knew till I told them. She's just an awesome mother. She is an awesome mother. And I'm the woman I am now because of her. And she will always get her flowers from me, whether they real or fake. She got a green thumb. I don't. I will kill a plant in a heartbeat. But she know how to take care of it. So she know how to bring it back to life, baby. But I got to shout her out, because she's been one of my biggest supporters, and I surely do appreciate her for that. And lastly, if you like what you're seeing with this podcast, support the podcast. This is something that's been a long time coming, and my son was one of the reasons too that I went ahead and got out there, because he's like me. Like, I was scared to step out there, and he stepped out there with his camera stuff. He was kind of he's like me. I'm very it's got to be right or I won't do it. I will judge myself real bad. I'm my biggest critic, and he's the same way. And when I told him, I was just like, I need to go ahead and do it, but I'm scared to get out there. He was like, you just gotta go ahead and jump out there, Mom. And I did. So here we are, and he's been a part of that process. So if you like, what you're seeing with the No Shoez podcast, and you want to help keep it going, I have my Cash App down there at the bottom. You can see it down there at the bottom. Make a donation. No donation is too big or too small. And I always like to let people know, if you donate to anything I'm a part of, what it's going to. And it's going to go to keeping the podcast going, with upgrading maybe to new apps or, upgrading equipment so I can keep looking crisp for y'all. Okay? I got to stop. But I want to thank y'all really so much, and even sharing my podcast, that helps. If you can't donate, you can help by just sharing it. I appreciate that. I'm not one of those people like, yeah, I need you to get now. If you want to share, that helps out a lot. Thank you. This is gonna conclude this premiere. I thank you guys. I thank you for everybody again who supported. I can't thank y'all enough. I want to end with my slogan that I had to write down, because even my slogan I forget. Like, I forget everything. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. When I'm doing the lives, you're gonna see me with my call cards, because I forget. We forget. MS Warriors, we forget. So for this podcast, nothing's dressed up, just real talk. And that's the No Shoez Podcast. And that's it, folks. That's all, folks. I appreciate you guys. And until next time, and once I get a schedule going for how often I'm going to do the lives, I will let y'all know so y'all can be on here. Make sure you go to my Facebook page and submit that feedback form of topics that y'all want to see, because I want to see what y'all going to bring so we can get to talking. Okay? All right, y'all. So I will see y'all soon. Love you guys again. Thank you. Much love to you guys. Stay healthy. Drink your water. Make sure you drink your water. 6 ounces a day, all right? Keep that body good. All right, y'all. Bye, y'all. Bye.